calls me from out of the pit.
Oh, yes, I was trying to summon Baphomet.
What is thy purpose?
Well, yeah, I was a big fan of his appearance here in Des Moines at the Capitol building this last Christmas, and I was wondering if he'd be willing to come back for a return engagement.
Enter this body and cleanse it of its unworthy soul.
You know what, I'll just try summoning Beelzebub and see if I can leave it at. Thanks. Welcome back to the Weird Movie Channel, where we are the only review site on YouTube that actually seeks out the weirdest movies for your pleasure. Today we have a special treat, The Devil's Reign, 1975. This is from the reader suggestion queue, and, you know, for once, this is a very good recommendation. And, you know, it's The Devil's Reign. I don't have a Devil's Reign shirt, but I figured a Purple Rain shirt's close enough, all right? Look at the formula for this movie and tell me if this isn't destined to be weird, okay? You have the cast. You have Ernest Borgnine of McHale's Navy and Airwolf fame. Eddie Albert, fresh off of his run of Green Acres. We have Ida Lupino, veteran actress, credits going back to 1931. William Shatner, of course, of Star Trek fame. Keenan Wynn, whom you know from Dr. Strangelove. Tom Skerritt, Gunsmoke veteran and the future captain of the Nostromo. John Travolta, his very first role. He was just an extra cultist that has maybe 5-second screen time. But anyway, this is also allegedly where Travolta was introduced to Scientology on the set of this movie. And finally, they had Anton LaVey and his wife, apparently Diane LaVey, consulted on this movie. Anton LaVey is the founder of the Church of Satan, Satanism. So he kind of sort of founded it. It's confusing. There's also a satanic temple that was founded by Aleister Crowley's beliefs. It's Satanism. Who cares? This was yet another one of the 1970s wave of devil movies that came out after The Exorcist. And everybody had demon happy fever. So, all right, none of these people, none of these actors were ever known for the horror genre at all. Directed by Robert Fuest, who gave us, wait for it, Certified Weird Entry 307, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, written up by yours truly. Look it up there if you just as soon read me as watch me. Now, when I tell you what is this movie about, it's sort of a satanic western that was supposed to be a horror movie, but it actually plays like the most demented episode of Wagon Train ever filmed. Between the recycled TV's cheap stage sets and the mostly television cast. So it really plays more like a made-for-TV movie. It's supposed to be a horror movie. It has no scares whatsoever. It is... It's very tame that way, but very wild in other ways, in the ways of things that just did not work in this cheesy 1975 production. But it is quite the curiosity. So, Roger Ebert added The Devil's Reign to his most hated movies list, and as for director Fuest, as we understand it, his career never recovered. Many of the people, including Ernest Borgnine, stormed off the set saying they'd never do another movie like this. What the devil is going down in Georgia? Let's find out. This is The Devil's Reign. Seriously, do not get your hopes up from these credits. I know, my weird movie penguin senses started buzzing when The Devil's Reign opened with close-ups of Hieronymus Bosch paintings, bolstered by faith a lot that the spirit of my beloved Dr. Phibes is breathed still in Robert Fuest's work. And then I saw the rest of the movie. So here is Bart Preston, played by Shatner, and his mom Emma, played by Lupino. Also this other guy John, who I swear wandered in from another movie. He's going to disappear about halfway through and you'll barely notice. Mark has been out looking for his dad. And he and his mother share his concern, but don't worry, he'll turn up, or his ice cream doppelganger.
Steve? Steve?
The book. Corvus. The desert. Redstone. He's waiting for the book. Give Corvus what belongs to him.
Go near him. Don't touch him.
Holiday. Satan.
We'll circle back to this whole melting thing in a bit. Trust me.
That wasn't your father.
It was his face. His clothes.
We're 7 minutes in and we've already said bye-bye to logic.
They found us. Corbus has your father. It wasn't him, Mark. I tell you, it wasn't him.
So to mash together multiple exposition speeches along the movie, there's a satanic cult that has it in for the entire Preston family. This goes back generations to the Quaker Oats Pilgrim days, when Shatner's ancestors swiped a sacred book from the satanic cult. The cult leader, Corbus, has sworn a curse on the Preston family until they get the book back. And now, with Dad melting away,
They found us.
so Mark's mother sends him out on a quest to gun down Corbus, protected by Zelda's Rune of Malarkey, or whatever this magic amulet is.
Take this with you. Corbus can't harm you as long as you wear this amulet.
But no sooner is he out the door to this unidentified truck than the cultists ransack the house, inflict some sick bondage on Grandpappy John here, and run away with Ma Emma.
Mother! Corbus!
So Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, consulted on this movie. That means American Satanists using Haitian voodoo dolls is canon in Satanism now, folks. Mark sets out with his trusty six-shooter and his Ghostbuster mobile to find the Gorn. No, I mean Corbus. He makes his way to the old western ghost town. A tumbleweed, I'm bored already. Mark tracks Corbus down and gets right to the point with Corbus, Ernest Borgnine, challenging Mark to a contest of faith.
A challenge? My faith against yours.
Mark loses as soon as he sees his ma there with the freaky Children of the Damned eyes.
Here, and you will know the peace of mind that I have found.
Behold!
So much for magic amulets. This isn't the first time Kirk's been taken prisoner, so let's circle back to him. We have more Prestons to meet, like Julie Preston, played by Joan Prather. Julie has psychic powers, as witnessed by, yeah, no kidding, this is Eddie Albert's role, Dr. Sam Richards. Julie is married to Tom Preston, played by Tom Skerritt, and Tom is Mark's brother. I think of Tom as a discount Charles Bronson, while Julie is just the obligatory random psychic they threw into every other horror movie in the 70s.
Preston, isn't there a danger that these experiments could interfere with normal brain activity?
No. We've studied many cases like this, found there's no reason for concern at all.
I sure appreciate this doctor's scientific lecture about paranormal mental powers before we go back to the magic Satan control.
Yes.
But before you can say, Julie, something's happened to my family.
Julie, something's happened.
Because Tom just knows this. I guess Julie must have sneezed psychic powers onto him or something. They try to get help from Mark, but local Sheriff Keenan Wynn isn't hearing a word of it.
I'm not even going to take the trouble to write up a report. All we need now is a flying saucer to really put this place on the map.
John's story's just as hard for me to believe as it is for you. But he's sure that Mark went to Redstone.
So Tom and Julie set out to find Mark, who's busy getting tortured.
Peace and salvation. Where is the book? You gambled and you lost. Torment of hell holds no terror for you.
I gotta hand it to William Shatner. If you want somebody to look sweaty with their shirt off, nobody sweats like the Shat. He's lucky they didn't make him trot around like a pony with a Greek midget on his back. Worth it. That's Lilith? That's the best you can do for Lilith? Oh wait, it's Black Eyed Peas' mom again. Mark and Julie arrive in the same ghost town and begin investigating, guided by psychic radar that gives you cues from the soundtrack when you spot the hideout. They'd better watch their step, though. They almost disturbed this rocking pocket knife. Are the scares and chills keeping you on the edge of your seat yet?
I've seen churches like this in New England. It doesn't belong here.
Are you suggesting that churches migrate?
Devil worship.
Oh, Tom, look at this. This wax. It's the same that was on the porch.
What, are you a wax expert now? Then their car gets blown up, and going outside almost gets them sideswiped by a random cultist driving Mark's ride. After a prolonged search, the cultist Travolta's out to attack, and it's our favorite sweat hog. Julie's psychic powers turn on, and she reads the entire flashback of the history of the Prestons and the Pilgrim Corbus in the cultist's eyes.
The book is gone. Didst one of thee fall from the favor
A
of
very,
Lucifer?
very long flashback.
Who amongst thee dares cast thee into an
Like,
eternity
forgot
of
what
limbo?
movie I'm watching
Business.
long.
The condemning of evil.
A curse on thee and thine forevermore.
And are they just going to leave John Travolta there dead, or is he barely staying alive? Mark and Julie flee the scene only to drive a pointless distance away, and then Mark decides he's got to walk back. But I guess this stray shadow lurking out of frame was a hint that there's a cultist hiding in Julie's car. You'd think a psychic would have seen that coming. With all this open desert, why do you keep finding things to hit? Meanwhile, back at the Passion of the Kirk, they're burning a hole in the ozone layer with torches as they march Mark off to take part in a ritual. This must be heavy business because they're using their cave location instead of the migrating church. But have no fear, Tom is just going to Indiana Jones his way in. And now, the moment you've been waiting for.
O deathless one, who calls me from out of the pit?
Goat face! Apparently Corbus needs to be in goat mode to do the heavy Satanism. Remember folks, Anton LaVey signed off on this goat cheese. There he is right there in his gold Robocop headgear. A certified authentic depiction of Satanism. Well, they convert Mark into one of the bug-eyed cultists. Sorry if you thought he was the main protagonist. And Tom doesn't fare much better, but at least he's reunited with Mom. How come you never call? Now, aside from the bleeding goop, why are the cultists bleeding different colors of goop? How does that work with two colors of blood in your system? Do you have two hearts? Is there two circulation systems? That's what's going on. Or, maybe they just have cherry flavor on one side and blue raspberry on the other like a Slurpee machine. Tom makes a clean getaway, but he does catch more cultists truant in town. Hey, buddy, you're supposed to be at the ceremony right now. They reserved a big cave for it and everything. Tom makes his way back to daylight hours and Dr. Richards, who somehow has the book now.
Here, take a look at this.
What is it? Where'd you get it?
It's a book. I got it from John, bequeathed to your mother. It's been in your family for centuries. You haven't seen it. This book was owned by Corbus. What? 300 years ago. It's a registry of the people, the names of the people that he converted to Satan.
And somehow is an expert on Satanism now. Dr. Richards breaks down this book business for Mark, who's just now hearing about it. It's a book of signatures of people which binds their souls to Satan, but Satan can't collect the souls without the book. And apparently Corbus is 300 years old, so if he's kept Satan waiting this long, he's going to have some explaining to do. But here we finally get to the title drop. This movie is The Devil's Reign, remember? Oh, and Mark Preston's name has appeared in the book magically. Because he's a cultist.
We're talking about something neither one of us understand. In the meantime, I don't know what in the hell's happened to Julie.
Well, what's happening to Julia is she's getting initiated into the cult next, though they tastefully spared her the topless whipping they gave Shatner. Doctor and Toe arrives back at cult headquarters and they discover the Devil's Reign. It's a big ram-headed Fabergé egg with a TV inside, of course, showing a bunch of souls trapped in there. Just look at it. You'd guess that it was the Devil's Reign right away, right? But the sheriff finds them and Keenan Wynn is one of them. Dr. Richards just Kali-Mas him down to a fiery sacrifice via the same hole they were storing the egg in. I don't know, don't look at me that way. The hole just does that now. It's multifunctional. When you get to hell, tell them Green Acres is the place to be! In this confusion, the doctor leaves the book behind and the cultist brings it to Corliss, and he finally has it. And what do you know, they catch Tom too.
Dr.
Richards.
Dr. Samuel Richards. Yes. I've been aware of your work through these many years, Doctor.
Well, Oliver Wendell Douglas, it's time to have your final showdown between you and Lieutenant Commander Quentin McHale. A thing none of us thought we'd ever say.
Leave here safely. I will destroy the Devil's Reign!
Next to that plan, cultist Mark steals the play.
No, you're not, Martin! Break it! Remember Ernest!
What the heck? He's standing right there. Just take it away from him. Nah, fine, smash the thing. And then this happens. Blows a hole in the roof, it starts raining, and all the cultists start melting. As for Corbus, this really gets his goat. No, I have no goat joke jar for this movie. They come complimentary with the film. So they have a big brawl, but Billy Goat Gruff is melting too, and the rest of this cast is starting to look pretty washed up. Remember, I told you we'd circle back to this whole melting thing. Everybody just dissolves into goop for the last 10 minutes of the movie. Need I remind one more time, authentic depiction of Satanism. Boy, with publicity like this, it's no wonder they have a hard time recruiting. And that's pretty much it. As the poster bills it, absolutely the most incredible ending of any motion picture ever. It was pretty gruesome seeing all this gelatin and yogurt go to waste. Is The Devil's Reign a weird movie? I'd say it makes a great pitch for one. Allegedly, it was supposed to have a filming schedule of 8 weeks, but on the first day of shooting, they discovered their schedule would be cut down to 6 weeks, and boy does it show. Despite the schedule crunch, the movie manages to just have a dragging pace. It's a hodgepodge mess of a story, and for a horror movie, it's practically devoid of any scares. It's also riddled with plot holes. Why didn't the Preston family take action against Corbus sooner? What happened to John? Did Mark melt too? Did Tom and Mark's mother melt? Couldn't they have found a way to spare them first? How did the cold get to the sheriff? Where did that magic amulet come from, and why didn't it work? Both from the protagonist's and the audience's view, heck, even from the villain's point of view, this whole fiasco was a failure. But it's a smashing success as a weird movie. The Devil's Reign has become easily lost amid the many other satanic cult movies out there, which were all too common in the big 1970s cinema demon wave following The Exorcist in 1972. But it stands out for its goofiness, its pileup of wrong-headed decisions, and its unique blend of actors, none of whom should have been within 50 miles of a horror movie. Apparently, studio executives just saw Linda Blair puking pea soup and thought, I could have a whole town full of cultists melting. If it's goop the audience wants, then goop it shall get. The Devil's Reign has a cult following for several good reasons, and even without the big names, it would still be a gargantuan pile of cheese. Just don't go in expecting Shakespeare and give the movie a chance to explain itself in its own terms. It just might melt your heart, along with the rest of your internal organs. Scotty, beam me up!